So functions of law. Functions and purpose of law have been changing with time and place. Law is not like something that is static, like it will keep on changing. Similarly, functions of law will also keep on changing with time and place. They depend on the nature of state where it is being applied. It will also depend where we are applying it. Is it India where we are applying? Is it only like one particular state where we are applying? Is it only Karnataka where we are applying? Or is it only Bangalore where we are applying? Depending on that also it will change. Right? So now we will see what are these different types of functions that they perform. First is maintenance of law and order in society. So we need some kind of a thing that everyone will follow. Like if there is a park where dogs or animals are not allowed inside the park, it has to be a rule that they will display, right? Otherwise, everyone may come with some dogs, cats, this, that, right? There will not be maintenance of law and order. So law will help us in maintenance of law and order in the society. Secondly, law will protect fundamental rights and statutory rights. Every human has rights. What all rights we have? Right to education, right to
Right to vote,
privacy, right to
right
vote
to
we
vote,
have, right to vote we
right
have,
to live,
right to leave
right to
we
live.
have. Yeah, right to live, right? Simply giving those rights are not enough. Someone will have to protect it. So if there is a law that is protecting it, we can enjoy. So law will also protect all these rights that we are having. Okay, next is a source of development of new laws. That means we already have one law. We can see that particular law and we can try to find out the mistakes that are there, right? We can try to develop a better law. So it will always help in development of new laws, right? Like step by step, we can correct everything and we can finally reach a law which is perfect or almost perfect, right? So it will also be a source in development of new or better laws. Okay, is this part clear?
It's clear, ma'am.
Okay, if you have any problems, you can simply ask, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Next is bring orderly change through law and social reform. That means social reform as in society, there may be certain things which are not the best practices, right? Some mistakes, we are just following it just because everyone is following. We need to bring reforms, right? We need to correct those mistakes. How we can do that? We can do that with the help of law only. Like, are you aware of this concept of sati? Sati system, it used to be there, right, in earlier times.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is sati?
After dying his husband, the girl will have to go and jump into the fire.
Yeah, yeah. So girl will have to, wife will have to sacrifice her life. She will jump in the fire, same fire. So it was followed for such a long time. Why? Because everyone was following. Now we need to stop that. How we will stop that? We will stop that with the help of a law. So we have one law, Sati Prevention Act, right? That law helped us to bring this reform. That law helped us to bring this reform. So whenever we want to bring these reforms and other things, it is law only that will help us with those regards as well. Okay, so maintenance of social order, protection of rights, source of development of new laws, bringing social reforms. Next is delivery of justice. What is justice basically? Everything has to be like equally treated, right? Nothing should be like unjust, right? Someone is getting unjust benefit, someone is getting bad treatment or something. So in order to deliver justice also, law will help us. How? Law will tell that in this particular situation, if you are doing this wrong, this is the punishment that you are going to face. That means it will be justice for the victim, right? Victim will be having this relief that, okay, fine, at least the criminal got punished, right? So law will also help us in providing justice. So delivery of justice is another function. Next is control of political system. Now, political system as in like government, right? We have central government, state government, we have we have parliament, legislative assemblies, and all of that. What will happen is there are laws in order to regulate their behavior also. That means parliament cannot just do whatever they want. Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, MP, your chief minister, governor, they cannot just do whatever they want, but there are some rules and regulations that will be applicable to them also. Right? You must have studied in your 10th or 11th, 9th or 10th social science, right? What are qualifications of president studied, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So what is that? That is fixed under some law, right? Anyone cannot just come up and be like, I'm the president. They need to fulfill those basic criteria also. So that means it will also control political system, that anyone just cannot come up and say that I'm governor from today, I am the chief minister. They need to fulfill those basic qualifications, then only the person will be entitled. So it will control political system as well wherever needed, with regard to salaries, with regard to their term of office, right, their rights, privileges. For every single thing, basically, we have a law.
Wow.
Next is protection of minorities against majorities. Who is a minority? Who is a majority?
Minority means after 18 years, ma'am.
No, that is minor and major person. Okay, minority and majority means in terms of religion and all we say.
Okay.
Religion and all we say, right? That Muslim is a minority community, so give them some protection, right? That tribals are a minority, give them some protection. That one. Okay, so protect minorities against majorities. That means law will protect these people where number of people are less in terms of religion, in terms of language, or in terms of something else. These are limited number of people and this is a majority. So we need to give protection to them, like we have
To
for,
less people.
yeah,
To
less
less
people. Yeah, when there is less people, law will give them some protection. Like there are reservations for minority, religious minority groups. Some scholarships are provided. There are special laws to protect SC/ST people, right? All of those will come under here. That law will give the necessary protection to minorities against majorities, right? Next is regulations relating to trade, business, profession, etc. Now you are free to enter into any profession, any trade, any business, but there may be some basic qualification that you need to satisfy. So law only will prescribe that. Okay, like after completing your LLB, you cannot simply go and start practicing. You need to obtain a license, you need to appear for bar exam. Why do we need to appear? Because it's a law that is set, right? You are free to enter into this profession of practicing law, but you need to satisfy this basic criteria that we have, that is having the bar license, right? So it is law only which will tell us all of these things. Maybe if there are some other businesses where you will need to get yourself registered, you need to pay some amount of tax from your profit, right? So all of those will come here. That it will give regulations with regard to trade, business, profession, etc. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is regulates economic activities in the country. What is economic activities? If you are into some business or something, you will have to pay some taxes, right? For those also, it's law only that will tell us. You must have heard we pay income tax. How much income tax is to pay, where it is to be paid, why it is to be paid, all of those are decided by law only, right? We pay GST. If you are going outside to have food, you will have to pay GST amount. If you are taking a service, you will pay a GST amount. What is GST? It's again given by law only, right? So it will give certain types of taxes like sales tax, income tax, GST, customs law, many other things will also be provided by law in order to regulate economic activities in the country.
House tax also come under this, no?
House tax also may come under this, right? Because that also government is taking, right? All of those are coming from law only, right? Why are we paying house tax? Because there is a law that is giving us a direction with regard to that. Next is relations of regulations of human relation, right? What is human relations? There can be different types of contracts that two people make, right? There can be a contract that two people make. Like you wanted help with regard to this subject, so you came to that institute, right? Or maybe you came to me to ask if I can help you or not. So that is what? That's like a human relation, right? You came to me asking whether I can help you with this subject or not. But then how will things work? It is by way of a contract. We will decide that, okay, fine, these things I will do, right? So in that way, it can even regulate human relations. There can be multiple contracts that may be there, right? So all those also will come under here. Uh, if you are booking a cab, all right, to go somewhere, you are booking Ola, it's also like a contract only, right? That you agree that I will go to this particular place, you drop me there, and I will pay the fare. That's like a contract only which you have entered, right? So law will also help in regulation of human
Human rights.
relations. Human relations, right? Next is resolving dispute. Obviously, if there is a dispute between two persons, it's law that we will approach, right? If there is a property dispute between two persons, they will go to law to settle the matter, right? If there is a dispute with regard to custody of child, right? Parties will go to court, ask that whoever is right give custody. Any sort of dispute between two individuals, they will go before court. If they have made a contract is being violated, they will again go before court, right? So with regard to resolving dispute also, court will help us. Next is establishing standards. That means law will show a way with regard to minimum accepted behavior in a society. Establishing standard as in there are certain things which you cannot just do, right? If I'm going somewhere, I cannot just slap any person that I see around me, right? Why I cannot do that? Because it's a standard set already by law that this is the minimum expected behavior from you. You cannot just go and start slapping anyone whom you see around you, right? So it's law that will tell you this minimum standard that you need to follow, right? These minimum things we need to follow, otherwise it will be a crime or it will be a wrong. We may be punishable, right? So it's again law only that will do. International relations. Law is also responsible for conducting and making international relation. It plays a great role in terms of forming economic, diplomatic, and strategic relations. Right? If India wants to make certain agreements with another country, it's law only where they will specify. Right? There may be laws where they will tell you that if you want to make an agreement with some foreign country, these are the things that you need to follow. If you want to export something, if you want to import something, you need to follow these formalities, you need to follow these rules. So it's always law that gives you a direction with regard to that also. Next is interpretation of law. That means what is law basically? Law will be some kind of a legislation, right? In a piece of legislation, they will write that this is the law, this is what is applicable, that is what is applicable. Now, interpretation as in we need to understand, we need to find out true meaning of those sentences. All right, so law, if we have some law where it's written, okay, fine, these are the 10 provisions which you have, you can take help of that particular law. You can read that law and you can try to understand, okay, fine, this law is meaning that thing only, right? You will be able to apply it to the given situation. So law will also help you in terms of interpretation of the law, because you can refer to that specific legislation, read it, understand it, and then apply it to the given situation, right? So law will also help in terms of interpretation of the laws. So these are the 14 different functions. There are a lot many other functions. You can just pick whichever you want and then you can accordingly write in exam. And then finally, you can give a conclusion that in a nation, law can serve many purposes. Some in some legal systems, one single law is there which is applied in two different countries. In one country, it may work really well, but in another country, it may not work that well also. All right, it will depend on the situation, on the country, and everything. Why? Because people also should be interested in following the law, obeying the law rather than violating them. Then there will be other external factors like efficiency of police, efficiency of judiciary, right? Many other factors would come into play. So effectiveness of law will depend on other factors like efficiency and independence of judiciary in the country, efficiency of police, and how good are the citizens, right? Or how interested are citizens to obey those laws, right? Like that, you can even give one simple conclusion of 2-3 lines and end your question. Okay, so these were basically the 14 different types of,
Functions of
yeah, functions
functions of
of, right, functions
law.
of law that we have, right? So any doubts on this part? You can just go through. I think it's visible, right? Or is it like too small?
No, ma'am, it's visible.
Visible, okay. Are you using a phone or what?
I'm using phone, ma'am. Actually,
Okay.
laptop, it's not coming voice properly.
Okay, okay. So it's visible, right? Otherwise, I can just
Yes.
zoom the screen. Okay.
No, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fine. So these were the 14 different types of functions. You can just go through this part and you will be able to write, right? Even if you remember only the headings, that should be enough. You can elaborate the answer yourself also. So you can accordingly decide and prepare for the exam. These are the 14 types. Just remember, always you give one intro and one conclusion, whatever question you are writing, right? So that's all for this. So this is the first topic that we have covered from Unit 2.